Shalom Chavrim, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live, and today was the 21st victim, stabbing death of a young lady named Hadar Bucharest, the girl that you see pictured on the screen and behind you here. This has been reported on several different news outlets already. The photo here is actually on Israel National News. Very tragic indeed for such a young girl to lose her life at such a young age, and the irony of it being that she was 21 years of age at the time. Let me quickly, though, share with you, though, a little bit more about this. She was killed in the West Bank, stabbing attack. I don't like calling it the West Bank, but that's what it's called today. It's called the West Bank. Her name is Hadar Bucharest. She is 21. And that was at Etzion Junction. She was shot, the terrorist was shot dead by security forces. The settler leader calls for a lockdown on the Palestinian villages in that area there. This is the scene of the crime here. You see the Israeli soldiers on your screen there in the background. I can't get the photo any bigger. I was thinking maybe I could, but I cannot. She was administered emergency treatment at the scene, but it was later reported that she had actually died at the scene. As I mentioned, she was the 21st victim to die in Israel since the Third Intifada officially has began. There was 192 that have been injured, 20 of those that were very serious at the time. The stabber was shot and killed, of course, by the security forces at the scene. The Shin Bet Security Service later named him as Wissam Tawabati, a 34-year-old from Beit Fayar, a nearby Palestinian village. He did not have a previous links to terror activity, and Shin Bet said Davadi Pearl, the head of the Etzion Regional Council, and said the IDF must restrict Palestinians from freedom of movement in close-off villages in order to prevent terror attacks in the future. And see, this is one of the major problems with these types of incidents to begin with. This is what forces more problems for Palestinians, the Arabs living in these regions here, both whether it be the West Bank or in Gaza, is their own actions is forcing Israel to have to take extreme measures to protect themselves. And even if you looked at it as two states, which to me it should not be two states, it clearly is like two different countries. It's a country closing off its borders. Very much what we've been seeing in Europe right now. There's been a lot of countries locking down their borders and very careful about who they let in or who they let out. In the case of Europe, though, it's even more dangerous because now they've already imported all the terrorists here. And so as they lock the borders down, they make sure that they stay inside the country. Very, very, very difficult situation indeed. And by the way, too, just a quick thought I want to share with you guys. Before we started our prayer for Israel process this weekend here, I had been doing some very deep research on the oil. The scripture that God had led me to there about the oil that was in this land here that was being shipped from Syria to Egypt, and I've discovered some very ironic information on that, some ties that would really prove exactly what I saw written in the scripture. So hopefully I'll be able to bring that to you guys later this week. It's a very in-depth look at it, the ties that are there, and exactly who does what, where, when, and all this kind of good stuff. It is definitely a big triangle, but the Bible definitely does prophesy exactly what happened. Anyway, going back to this young lady right here, very sad. This was from Facebook that they had posted her picture. I think this was on the Jerusalem Post. She passed away today, the 22nd, at the Gush Etzion Junction. Anyway, moving on to other news here. Another very serious thing that we got today. Brother Chris sent me this here. I think someone else sent me this as well. But this here was posted on the Jerusalem Post. The article is by Daniel J. Roth. In pictures, thousands of Iranian soldiers staged a mock siege of the Temple Mount. They actually erected a plastic Dome of the Rock there on this hilltop. Constructing the replica of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Dome of the Rock is what most people call it by. Tens of thousands of soldiers stage exercises dubbed Towards the Holy City. Thousands of Iranian parliamentary forces participated in the mock drills exercises simulating the capture of the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Iran's semi-official Fars news agency reported this Friday, constructing a plastic replica of Al-Aqsa Mosque, the Dome of the Rock. Tens of thousands of soldiers conducted the stage exercise dubbed Towards the Holy City. And they say that report added that the drills involved over 120 Basi battalions in which fighter jets bombed targets in the desert and dozens of gun-wielding squadrons representing the IDF soldiers guarded the shrine's replica. Fars quoted on Basia commander as saying the drills were organized to exercise preparedness for the fight against possible threats in the region. You see definitely the different soldiers that were participating in the mock attack. It says fighters or volunteers arms Iran Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and have been arriving in Syria to reinforce Syrian government troops in an offensive in the contested north city of Aleppo and other insurgent held areas there. Last month, Iran held a public funeral for one of Basia's senior parliamentary fighters after he was fatally wounded in a battle in northern Syria. And by the way, as we said before, we believe that this is only a staged event for the Iranians because of their no doubt planned entry into Israel in the very near future there, along with Hezbollah, the attack to take the Golan. And that may only be the first of the wars that will actually take place before the full onslaught of the Gog and Magog battle. There you see on your screen now the pictures of the fighter jets dropping bombs there in the desert that was near to the Al-Aqsa, the replica of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Anyway, these are the things, the headlines that we're looking at right now that are going on. Very serious indeed, no doubt about it, and very sad to see, again, like I said, the 21st victim of this young lady that died there. Anyway, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You've been watching Israeli News Live. Shalom.